What's up coders, Raz here back with another video tutorial and yet another distro, Arch this time. Actually it was very unfortunate that I accidentally formatted the wrong disk partition a few days ago when installing Arch on my system. And guess what? I lost all my data. There were two active projects I was working on and I thought it would be a good idea to push them to GitHub. Anyways, don't be stupid, always create backups, which is very important. And another very important and fundamental thing we're going to discuss today is taking user input in Java, which of course is necessary to make an interactive user interface. So without further ado, let's begin. Let's start with an example. We take a variable string fname, which stands for first name, and not initialize it yet. Now we want the user to enter his first name in our program and then set the input to this fname string variable. And to take input from user from keyboard, we have the scanner class in Java. It can read the input from keyboard when you press enter and then parse it into a string, integer, double, float, long, etc. And to make use of scanner class, we import the scanner class first. It is included in java.util package. And if you remember from our previous videos, we used the import keyword to use the classes provided in the package. So write import java.util.Scanner on the top. And then inside our main method, create a scanner object, just like we would create an instance of a normal class. So write scanner, name of scanner XXX equals new scanner. Let me just call it SC instead, something descriptive. So syntax is not yet finished. It is giving an error, and if we hover over it, your compiler tells us that the scanner is undefined and also shows some quick fixes below. It says add argument. So now we know that our scanner class comes with a bunch of parameterized constructors which take in an input stream as argument. It could be anything like a file input stream, a standard input stream, and can also take in a string for some reason. Let me just pass a string to it and you can see the error is gone. And if you haven't been following along and don't know what constructors are, I would highly recommend watching the last video of this series. Anyways, for now we'll just pass system.in in the scanner class, which is the standard input stream in Java. So system.out is the standard output and system.in is standard input in Java. Keep that in mind. And the way it works is, first of all, when you run this code, it will definitely do nothing because this scanner object is unused. And it has this very cool next method to prompt input from the user in the console. And we can use it by putting a dot after SC, and your IDE displays all the methods inside. Just use this next method for now. And now if you run it, you can now use your keyboard to write in the console and press enter when you're done. It can now accept your input, and to better demonstrate and help users understand what it is that we want from the user, we'll just print out enter your name before this sc.next. So now the user knows what to enter here in the console. And after that, we'll print out this sc.next. So CISO, your name is plus sc.next, and run it again. It prints out enter your name, and the code execution stops at this point. And on the next line, you can enter your name here, Raz, and press enter. It prints out your name is Raz. Actually, let me just say print instead of print line here so we can prompt user input in the same line. Run it again, and it works. Yeah. But the best practice would be to store this sc.next in a string variable, say ABC, and print out this string ABC, and now we can access it anywhere in our code. And also keep in mind that we can only store one word separated by the delimiter, which is space here, using this next method of scanner class. So if I run it and write my full name, Raz skj, it only prints out Raz, my first name. To actually store strings, we use nextLine method of scanner class. So we'll just replace next with nextLine and run the code again. You can now take your full name and as many words as you want as input. And another thing to keep in mind is that this input can only be characters, not int, double, long, or short data types. So if I change the string ABC to int, it will produce an error because you're now setting a string data type to an integer, which is not possible as there is type mismatch. So to solve this issue, you can use parse int method of the class integer with capital I and pass sc.nextLine as argument, and it will now convert that string input to integer, which is then stored in int abc and can now be used to perform int calculations. Similarly, for double, float, etc., we can say double abc equals double with capital D dot parse double and sc.nextLine in parentheses, and your input is now a double. And that is how, by the way, we do type conversions in Java. But you don't really have to do type conversions. That was just an alternative approach to the methods provided in the scanner class. So instead of parsing this string to double, you can use the nextDouble method of scanner class, sc.nextDouble, and it will do the type conversion for you. Similarly, for integers, we can use sc.nextInt method. So remember, next method of scanner class to store one word only, like maybe asking user for his first or last name, and .nextLine method to store strings, and nextInt method for integers like age, and nextDouble and nextFloat for things like money, etc. And another thing to take note of is that when you type something in the console and press enter, this information is not directly passed to the program that is running. It is first saved in what is known as a buffer in your computer, which is the temporary memory storage. It's makeshift memory. And this buffer, which is a stream of ones and zeros, is then retrieved by your program. This is why we have to have the information stored in variables in our program. So hope that makes sense. Finally, let's use our knowledge from today's tutorial and build something real quick. So in our main, after instantiating the scanner class, scanner sc equals new scanner, we'll ask the user to enter an integer, so enter first number, and then int first equals sc.nextInt, and then we'll print enter second number and declare a second integer, int second equals same thing, sc.nextInt, and yes, we can use the same input streams, which is sc, as many times as we want after storing it in variables. And at last, print out the sum is plus first plus second and run it. It says enter first number, let's enter 10, enter second number, say 5, and whoops, it prints out 105. Well, because it just concatenates the string into first and then the result into second integer, so just use parentheses around first plus second, if you remember from our previous video, and run it. First number 10, second number 5, and the sum is 15, works like a charm. That also sums up today's video. Thank you for watching, you. Yes, you. And I'll see you guys in the next video, hopefully, where we will talk about some more amazing stuff in Java. Signing out.